Okay, now we move on to the RotatePiece function. Okay, so we've already done the move left function of the process inputs function. We've already done the move right function of the process inputs function, and now we're going to do RotatePiece function of the process input function, which appears in the main loop. Remember, move left function, move right function, and RotatePiece function are all sub-functions of the process inputs function, which is a main or primary function. These are all, however, secondary functions or sub-functions of the process inputs function. For the move left function, we moved it one block to the left, -1. Okay, for the move right function, we moved it one block to the right, or +1. For the RotatePiece function, we want to increase the rotation by 1 every time the spacebar key is pressed. So we put in current piece rotation equals current piece rotation +1. Okay, so it will execute the function from the process inputs function when the spacebar is pressed. Okay, so if we run that program, it's going to increase the rotation by 1. Okay, remember we specified 0 as the 0 rotation, 0 degrees, and then 90 degrees for 1, 180 degrees for 2, and 270 degrees for 3. Okay, 0, 1, 2, and 3 for all the piece rotations. Okay, so that's the variable there that we're using. Okay, so if we run the program, we don't want a square because I can't show you it rotating. Okay, so it's at rotation 0, pressing the spacebar goes to rotation 1, 2, 3, then it goes to 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it runs through the data of the other pieces. So it goes 0, press it again, 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 and then it goes through the other pieces. It goes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it cycles through the rest of the data, which we don't want. We want it to go back to 0. Okay, so we want it to count like this. We want it to go 0, 1, 2, 3, and then loop back to 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we can't use the mod function and we can't use a loop. Okay, the loop will be continuous and it will move too fast. We can't use the mod function because we can only use that with numbers, not variables. Okay, variables in loops. So we have to use what's called a cyclic function. Okay, and that's going to help us to do this. To explain the cyclic function, I've written a small program just to demonstrate. Okay, so we start with the variable x equals 0. Okay, so in the main loop of this sample program that I've written, clear the screen, then we print x, which is 0, and then we add 1 to it, then we times it by an inequality less than the number that we want it to go up to. So if we want it to go up to 3, we multiply it by x is less than 3, strictly less than 3. That's how we do the cyclic function. The cyclic function being this, and then we delay it by half a second each time, just so it doesn't go too quickly, just so you can see it. Okay, so that's where it starts at 0. That's the increment, or the step, or how much it goes up by, and that's the number which it will start to repeat at. So it will include that number 3 and then go back to here 0 and start all over again. So if we run this program, I can show you exactly what I mean. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, and it will keep on going. Okay, so if we wanted it to go up by increments of 2 and start repeating at 10, starting at 0, we'd have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 0, 2, 4. Let's try that out. See? 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so that's how to do a cyclic function. Okay, so we actually want, for our program, for our purposes, we want 1 here and 3 here. Okay, so it goes rotation 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if we go back to our program, we should put this in brackets, and then we should multiply it by the current piece rotation less than 3. Okay, and that should give us our desired result. So here I go, and it rotates, and it just keeps on rotating no matter how many times I press it. Okay, there is a slight problem as I move to the left, or I move to the right, or even if I go off the edge of the board towards the bottom. Okay, I'll try and show you this. If I can get a piece to do it, maybe not, who knows. Maybe if I do that, wait till it just gets to the bottom. Okay, so you can see it went off the edge of the bottom of the screen there. So we need to make sure it doesn't go off the left hand side, or the right hand side, or the bottom of the screen. Okay, so last time we went through the board limits, okay, and those board limits are put here in for the left hand side. Okay, we want to make sure it doesn't go off the left hand side. So we want this equation here. You can see the -1 here. We went through this last time with the move left, move right, and the drop piece function as well. In the case it's not moving, so there's no +1 or -1 on this side. It's just -1, referring to this -1 here. The same for the current piece. Okay, it's not moving. It's left or right or down. It's where it is. It's just rotating. So the current piece x plus x iteration is less than 10, and it's the same for the bottom of the board, okay, for the blue equation. Okay, so we want to make sure it doesn't move off the edge of the board. Okay, so the logic for it's a very, very similar function, the RotatePiece function, to the move right function and the move left function. Okay, since it's not actually moving anywhere, and when it rotates we can just cycle through the x and y iterations however we want to, but as it's moving down we want to cycle through the y iterations first. Okay, so what we'll do is it follows exactly the same logic, so we just copy that part of the function for move left and put it in the RotatePiece function. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so since we're going down the screen we want to start with the y iteration because we're moving in the y direction. It's a good idea to check that first and then go through the x iteration next. Next we check if, which we've been through before, we check if a piece on a place on the piece is empty or not, or is not equal to 0, i.e. if the block is full on the TETRIS piece, the 4x4 piece. Okay, so but this is slightly different because it's this that changes, and we can see what it equals down here. Okay, so we want to substitute this expression into here. Okay, so we'll delete this, put some brackets, so it's multiplied by 7, and then we'll substitute this expression into here, and that will tell us if the block is full or not, depending on its rotation. Okay, and then we want to check it doesn't move off the left of the board. It's not moving to the left, so we can get rid of that -1. It's just staying where it is and rotating when it does the rotate piece. And we want to check it doesn't move off the right of the board. Okay, so that's the green expression. And we want to check it doesn't go off the bottom of the board, so we need current piece Y because it's in the Y direction and is less than 23. Okay, so you can see that expression right here. Yeah, these three expressions. So now it won't move off any of the board. Okay, so you won't get the problem like when it moves down like this, when it's at -1 and then it suddenly moves off the edge of the board like that. You won't get that problem for any of the rotations. Okay, because it will check to see if the piece is full first, and if it is, according to these restrictions in red, green and blue, that will prevent it from moving off the edge of the board. Okay, and as we remember we copied this from the move left function. As it's not moving, we don't need that -1, so that's its X location on the board, all the pieces or the blocks that it fills on the board in the X position and in the Y position. Remember for the move left function we had to put -1 here because it's moving to the left, and for the move right function we had to do +1, and for this one, for the drop piece function, we had to put +1, but as it's not moving anywhere we don't need to. Okay, and obviously it's just return because it's human controlled or player controlled, not computer controlled. Okay, and that is it. So let's check this out. So I can rotate. I go over here, and now I can't rotate it. Okay, I go over here, now I can't rotate it. Okay, and let's see if I can get it off the edge of the board. No, I can't. Okay, so that is the rotate piece function, and that's really all there is to it. It just follows exactly the same logic as the move right function and the move left function. You can see they're very, very similar. The only extra piece here is of course the cyclic function. Okay, that's the only really extra piece here, and the fact that we have to check all the locations, all the edges of the board, the left, the right and the bottom of the board. That's it. There isn't much more to it. Okay, so next we will move on to the last two functions, which are the drop piece function, place piece, because we need to store the piece on the board, because at the moment it just disappears. Okay, and then we need to check clear lines. Clear lines is a subject function, of course, of the place piece function, which occurs in the main loop. Okay, that's the end of this tutorial for RotatePiece.